Welcome into another telecast of LMC Varsity Sports. I'm Sean McGraw alongside Rob Moretti, and we are here at Rhinebeck High School for which should be a good boys lacrosse game as the 0-2 Brook Trojans take on a very resurgent 4-2 Rhinebeck Panthers. Rhinebeck only won one game in their maiden varsity season last year, Rob, against KO Academy. This year they've already won 4 games, a real exciting one in their last one.
Oh, certainly. That was the game that went to double overtime, and it almost ended in a tie. I don't know how many overtimes they play in the regular season, but Jake Sevion nailing the goal with a single second left in the game. Not really a much more exciting way to pick up a win than that. They did lose an overtime game the game before that as well, 7-6. So they've been playing a lot of overtime lately. These guys are getting above and beyond the experience you'd expect them to get at this stage of the game.
Yeah, for the second season they look pretty good, and when we get back we will have the opening face-off here on LMC Varsity Sports. Back here on LMC Varsity Sports, just about set for the opening face-off. Rhinebeck's Peter Veltri will take it, and for Brook, it will be taken by...
Is that William Golden?
Looks like it. The official's blocking him out, but looks like it could be William Golden.
I saw 2. I thought I saw 4, so maybe it's William Golden.
0-2 Brook, 4-2 Rhinebeck in just their second varsity season. Last year they finished 1-15. And a much better start this year. As Rob said in the opening, beat Ardsley in double overtime. Jake Sevion with the last-second game winner. And that was a violation against Veltri, and much to the applause of Brook, they'll get it, and it will be William Golden who will start with it.
Should be a fun game. These two teams are rivals in almost every other sport, but with the young lacrosse program, still trying to establish how that rivalry is going to go in the boys lacrosse season, but should be fun to watch.
Last year Rhinebeck had that epic road over 6-point win over them in basketball. One of the best games these two played. It was a big upset at Brook. Might have been a little closer than 6, but yeah. I think it was like 2 points.
They were down big in that. It's hard to remember. It was almost a year and a half ago at this point, but
still, that was the best game these two have had. Although it's been one-sided in football, Rhinebeck, because they are very close to one another, as it'll be brought in here, and a shot will be scored quickly by Jake Calcagini and assisted by Chris Ricard. Nice pass by Chris Ricard, and it'll be Jake Calcagini with the goal. Nice one there, Rob.
That was a beautiful backhand shot right out in front of the goalie. He's a freshman starting for Brook, Jesse Popper. Really no chance. You're just not expecting a shot from that angle.
Less than 1 minute gone by, just 53 seconds, and it's already 1-0. We'll get a new face-off man for the Panthers, and it'll be another violation. So 2 violations in a row. This one by Pedro Cueto.
Worked out for Rhinebeck the first time.
Long stick midfielder, and he'll get the steal right back. Well, Cueto.
I'm pushing back. Come on. Aren't you watching?
And it'll be brought up here. Kicked around by Brook, and a violation against the Trojans.
Yeah, that's
and
offsides.
Rhinebeck will have it.
Corpy was trying to pick it up, but he crossed midfield. They had too many men on that side. I think that's what the call was.
And never started it, so they'll bring back Calcagini. And Calcagni will pass it off to Michael Gottlieb, and an early flag against the Trojans. Rhinebeck will keep it here. Just like in hockey, if a penalty occurs, you keep playing until you lose possession. And the shot will be scored!
By Michael Gottlieb, already 2-0.
A minute and
37 seconds in, so Rob, Calcagni's goal was a little backhand flip right by Popper, and then this one was a rip
about 80 mile per hour snipe there, and it's already 2-0. And Brook's in trouble here early. It doesn't matter if they keep the face-off penalty infraction because Rhinebeck just gets the ball quickly back after. It's
definitely
like they don't even have to take it. Just let Brook start with the ball.
They're playing. It's just night and day from last year's team to this year's team, despite having almost entirely the same roster. The defense that this team's able to play, challenging possession, it just shows how far this program has come in such a short time.
A couple new players, Dan and Michael Gottlieb.
Gottlieb's are running wild at Rhinebeck.
Is on our roster. It says first year on varsity for Dan Gottlieb. It doesn't
say that, but that's because he was on Mamaronek's varsity last year.
Well, he was on Rhinebeck's varsity last year too.
Oh, okay, yeah. But the year before that, he was on Mamaronek.
Yeah, he's actually he's lettered at 2 schools. Not a lot of people could say they did that.
It's rare. In 2 sports.
Football as well. That's true.
Oh yeah, because he actually played last season Mamaronek, and then he transferred like in the middle of the year to Rhinebeck where he played lacrosse.
Nice, Connor!
But it's like what a difference a year makes though between these 2 teams, Rob, for Rhinebeck.
Absolutely, and Rhinebeck with the lead here, 2-0 early, and really I like to look at that Ardsley game that Rhinebeck was able to challenge them. They win in double overtime. Ardsley had a pretty easy time with Brook just over the weekend.
Who Rhinebeck beat in the double overtime, because Brook is 0-2.
So if you want to use common opponents as an indicator, you give Rhinebeck the edge in this game.
Rhinebeck started their year with a win against KO, who was the only win they had last year, and also beat Ardsley, and they had 2 other wins as well.
They beat Clarkstown South as well.
That's a very good win, as they're a AA school, and that one is stopped by the Brook defense and Jason Schoen before it reached Popper. Popper yet to make a save, although he's given up 2 goals. And this one will be played to Daniel Gottlieb, and Daniel Gottlieb will score. As his brother Michael got the first one, he get the second one, he gets the third, and it's 3-0, 8:44 left in the first.
You know, I'm not surprised either. Mamaronek has built a strong lacrosse program, and I believe the same youth lacrosse program serves both schools. So last year you had a whole group of guys who had never played the game at the varsity level, but you're seeing what this lacrosse program, really just in the geographic area, is able to develop.
As this face-off will be taken here, and it looked like Cueto had it, and he did, and then scooped up by Michael Gottlieb. As this one will be brought in by the Panthers. A drop there by Cal Cagney.
Tight defense there from Jason Schoen. Hacking away at Gottlieb's stick, or Cal Cagney's stick.
They also beat Yonkers 20-3. Did the Panthers. So they beat Yonkers, Ardsley, lost to Irvington and Edgemont, and beat KO.
So that's how they're 4-2. Picked up by Gottlieb. Nice play there by Pedro Cueto. He's looked good so far. And this one will be played there to Daniel Gottlieb, who had the last goal. And this shot will be, Popper will get a save, first of the game for him. On that shot by Gottlieb on a tough angle, and a good pass there by Popper to play Corpy. Fellow freshman stolen by Cueto. And Cueto loses it quickly. Little sloppy last minute of play here, Rob.
Yeah, that long stick gives you a lot of ability, but sometimes can be hard to handle.
And picked up by Daniel Gottlieb. Cal Cagney thought he had it, went for the shot, but he lost it. Popper nearly loses it himself in the
Almost
goal.
threw it into his own goal.
Which actually happened in the BU hockey game the other day. BU Providence National Championship, 3-2. The BU goalie played it, it slipped out of his glove after he caught it, goes in the goal, ties it up, and they lose the national championship.
Well, that's just not a good feeling.
No. But that was almost similar to that because he almost dropped it right in his net like the goalie on BU did, and that one scored by Gottlieb. And he'll tie his shoe after. And it's 4-0 as Daniel Gottlieb has 2, and we were talking about him earlier, coming over from Mamaroneck a year and a half ago, and he's a key player.
Absolutely. He was getting a good amount of time on Mamaroneck's varsity program at an A school, so here in Class C, definitely seen as a team leader, someone who had varsity experience coming into last year. Most first-year varsity programs can say they have someone with significant varsity experience.
In lacrosse there, I think there's none in Section 1, but it starts at D, right, in lacrosse, for the very small schools.
I think it's just A, B, and C for lacrosse, but don't quote me on that. There's no double A either.
Right, that's what I was trying to say, is that C, B, A, which Rhinex C. Because there are less schools like with lacrosse, like small school like Tuckahoe doesn't have a lacrosse team. They're D in football.
And Rhinebeck didn't have one 3 years ago.
Right. I don't think Haldane has one. They're a D in football. So yeah, I think you're right about that.
And that one picked up there by
Richard.
And he'll pass up to De La Rosa, Chris De La Rosa. He'll pass, and a far shot is high by Peter Veltri, the senior. But last year the team didn't lose many players, and this year they're gonna lose a lot of them though.
Well, they're off to a good start though. They're well on their way to clinching their first playoff berth.
As Daniel Gottlieb, Chris Richard,
seniors, and that one is scored there by Richard.
Right as we're talking about him, and it's a quick 5-0 lead. So he's got a goal and an assist halfway through this first quarter here at Rhinebeck.
I think the more impressive part too is we haven't even said Rhinebeck's goalie's name. It's Zach Schmalecki who's in there.
Who's a senior.
Also a senior. He wasn't on the team last year because he transferred over during the summer, but he was an impact player on the football team as well.
Wow. Where did he transfer? You know where he transferred from?
I know it was a private school. Might have been Iona Prep, but don't quote me on that either.
Don't be quoting Rob out there.
I am the unquotable Rob Moretti.
As that one will be played to Daniel Gottlieb.
And the rest they have him as Daniel. I thought he preferred Dan.
Sometimes they fill out the roster, they just use proper names.
We'll call him Daniel though.
As it'll be Blindbrook ball. About 90-10 outpossessed Rhinebeck Blindbrook so far.
That might be a low ball estimate.
What would you say?
I'd say 95. Blindbrook hasn't even, I don't think they've gotten into the over the 2/3 line.
And they got 2 of those by the infractions early, and then they quickly turned it over there as well.
See Cueto using the long stick there to swat that pass out of bounds.
Popper's only got 1 save, I think, and he's given up 5.
His defense hasn't been helping him that much, though. Rhinebeck has had a lot of good looks at the goal through the first quarter of this one.
Although a couple defensemen stopped a couple shots, they blocked a couple, as that one will be nearly stolen by the Trojans and then picked up, and they'll get the turnover.
Picked up by Daniel Opezi.
And that one played forward. And we'll see Blindbrook for the second time in Rhinebeck's end. First time was after the turnover, and it'll quickly be picked up by
The Panthers' Jack Bauer.
That was a nice pass.
Finds Connor Layden.
The sophomore plays it forward, but Cal Cagney can't get there. It'll go out for Blindbrook.
As Blindbrook is coached by Jason Head, assistant Drew Mayer, and the Panthers coached by Jonathan Sable in his second year at the helm of the second-year program. Joey Poor, Jelly assistant, is the assistant for the Panthers. We brought up here by Jason
showing. And he'll go towards the goal. And he'll shoot it, but it'll be saved there.
First save for Zach Chimlecki, and
Rob, when you say his name, it took Blindbrook 7.5 minutes, 7:45 for that first shot.
And it was an easy save, too, for Chmielewski. It was right on him. Not a whole lot of mustard on it either.
As we have 4 remaining in the first.
Chimlecki has as many saves as Popper.
Make it
2 times double the amount, as he's got 2 now,
as that was another weak shot.
That
It just fell in his
more,
lap.
A little more difficult that time. Close quarters, your reaction time isn't as much.
Even though it's softer, and
Gottlieb looking for the hat trick in the first quarter, misses it.
high and wide, and it'll be, Rhinebeck was closer to it. Interesting rule in lacrosse, the closer to the ball you get it.
It kind of gives the offense the advantage. It encourages you to shoot more, too.
As don't know if you saw the other day, Rob, but White Plains beat North Rockland.
I was following that game on Twitter. There was no defense in that one.
22-21?
Something like that. I'd never seen that high of a score.
From both sides. They combined for 43 goals, 22-21. White Plains unbeaten.
That was a busy day at the score table.
White Plains Mamaroneck might be a good game, although Mamaroneck killed North Rockland. So since Rob was going on head-to-head when he gave you the matchup before where Blindbrook didn't do well against Ardsley and Mamaroneck beat them.
Or Rhinebeck beat them.
Excuse me, yeah, Rhinebeck beat Ardsley
In double overtime, as where Blindbrook lost to them handedly.
Yeah, that's an early highlight of the program, really. Double overtime, last second win.
road win, right? Too? I
I think it was home.
LMC missed out.
We did. We were taking the weekend off.
That was this past Saturday.
That was.
As Rhinebeck has it here. Looking for goal number 6 in this first quarter. Gottlieb with a shot, and that one will go wide, a popper. But
You can tell Rhinebeck feels confident in this game. They're starting to play a little bit more aggressively, a little bit more flair.
as the first year program, that was also, confidence was a problem for them.
Absolutely, it's tough. It's something you need to build. He essentially started 0.
Nice save by Popper
For his second, he's got 2 now, along with
Chimlecki. And Popper nearly lost that one again on the thing. He's having trouble to make the pass. It's like in soccer when you don't trust the goalie on the back pass to play it up.
and brought up there by Mark
Cian Sully. He'll go back to defense as he'll hand it off to Jake Sevian, who scored that and was a star on the football team and a point guard on the basketball team, who unfortunately didn't pick up a win. And Popper will lose this one, and it will go to Rhinebeck. And picked it up in the crease, so it'll be a turnover. So that would not have been allowed for Calcagny. And Blindbrook just looking to get out of this quarter down 5, which they are right now, as they'll pressure Popper, but he'll find his teammate in Ryan Shaneman, who was football and basketball, I think.
Quarterback and a forward, I believe.
He was very good at basketball. And they had a very good team. I think they either made the finals in the section or semis for Class B.
Flag on the play.
So they'll first flag against Rhinebeck.
They're going to blow it dead, though.
Technical.
Not sure what that
30
means in
seconds.
lacrosse versus basketball. I don't think he's being teed up.
It's severe. No, he said just 30 seconds, so that's Ricard.
Ricard will sit out for 30 seconds, and it'll be Blindbrook ball. I wonder why they stopped play, though. Because Blindbrook had it, and they had the advantage, Rob.
The inner workings of lacrosse officiating, not one of my strong points. Well, let's see if Blindbrook can get a shot on goal here, maybe get one in the back of the cage.
And they will, and they'll score, right as Rob says so.
I'm going to Vegas.
Ryan Shaneman,
First goal of the game for the Trojans took 10 minutes and 50 seconds, and they
take advantage of the Chris Ricard penalty, and they score on the power play, and it's 5-1 Rhinebeck.
As there's 1:10 to go in the first quarter.
And Shaman's a matchup nightmare, really. He's one of the, it's probably the biggest guy on the field on both sides.
6'4" from basketball, if I can remember right.
He's definitely up there, up near there. And
as Rob would say, don't quote me on that.
Don't quote me on that one either. We don't have heights and weights listed here.
I'm pretty sure they on the roster is 6'3" or 6'4", and the pads would add.
He's the kind of guy who can be a matchup
cleats.
Be a matchup nightmare on offense, and
we didn't see him that much until then, and now he's on the sidelines right now, so they're trying to save him. Or
maybe they saved him for the extra man.
But he was out there. He drew the penalty, so. But Brook should play him more because that was a good shot he took.
And a tough save. Jim Leckie
couldn't make. It was out of his a bouncer, especially on the grass here. Tough, you can get like the right bounce on your shot.
And not a lot of grass fields left in Section 1, but this is one of them, and that could be a home field advantage for Rhinebeck. They're used to the bounces that you get off of grass.
Right, yeah, they use this field for football as well, and girls lacrosse, which was the game you saw before this here on LMC Varsity Sports. Rhinebeck girls against Ardsley. Hastings, excuse me, and that one will be wide as wasn't able to get a good shot on it was Jordan Kotler. And the first quarter will run out with the score Rhinebeck leading 5-1 here on LMC Varsity Sports behind 2 goals from Daniel Gottlieb, Jake Calcagni, Michael Gottlieb, and Chris Richard, all scored for Rhinebeck, and Ryan Shainman added a late goal for Brook. 5-1 after 1. Coming up next is the second quarter here on LMC Varsity Sports.
Back with the second quarter. Peter Veltri with the face-off win. I'm Rob Moretti here with Charlie McGraw. Nice sunny afternoon here at Rhinebeck High School. Panthers already a 5-1 lead. Looking for more. Veltri shoots. Save made by Popper. Rebound loose. Still fighting for the ground ball. Michael Gottlieb with the ground ball pickup.
Gottlieb's done a good job on those ground balls. Gotten on a lot of them so far. A couple in the first quarter. That one there, as Sevion makes a pass.
Tried to one-time it, could not connect. Veltri trying to pick up the drop pass, but Brook with it, hard contact.
Wow.
Looks like it's all legal. No flags, no whistles. And it's picked up by Ryan Shainman, who flings it down the field. This is William Golden. Could not connect with Kotler, and Rhinebeck picks it up.
As the two teams have switched sides, and the sun will now be in the eyes and little of Jim Leckie.
Golden, fake the pass, still has it. This is Sevion. He is speedy, as we know from the other sports he plays. Out in front, Veltri. Lots of room to work with, and it's 6-1 Rhinebeck.
His first of the game for Peter Veltri. And Rhinebeck leads 6-1.
As Popper looking at his defense like,
why'd you let him do that?
Exactly.
That's got to be a tough job being a lacrosse goalie. It's kind of like being a hitter in baseball. Your success percentage is going to be low, but you have to manage your expectations and just make the saves that you can make. Cueto with the face-off win. Gets it to Sevion, and he'll check out. It says Connor Layden.
Yeah, in most cases, the goalie give up more goals than they make saves.
Nice spin move by Gottlieb, couldn't get room.
I saw the other day online.
That's a nice pass. Shot went wide, actually stopped by Calcagni before it went out. So play will continue.
The Eastchester girls lacrosse goalie is closing in on 600 saves, which is really a big milestone.
A lot of scoring in this sport, yeah.
I think she was playing since 8th grade, probably.
Still, that's a lot of saves. How good is the defense if she has that many saves?
Yeah, it's not something you want to have to make that many saves. I mean,
I think there were
it's a good milestone.
Some goalies in hockey made like 62 saves in a game in high school. That's just because there was no defense. That one ripped wide by Layden. Rhinebeck will keep possession. 9:12 to go in the half. This is Sevian. I believe Sevian, a first-year lacrosse player. Nice spin move there. Shot blocked up in the defense. An easy pickup for Popper. Brook trying to clear. Pass doesn't connect, but Shaneman there to pick up the garbage.
Shaneman scored the first and only goal for Brook, and see if he can score another for
Shaneman's so big that stick looks like a twig. As that pass doesn't connect, chasing after it was Max Chalfin.
Because of his inch. Max Chalfin is the opposite of Shaneman. He's about a foot shorter than him. And
had an open look at Shaneman out in front, couldn't connect with the pass.
Smallest player on the field, passing it to the biggest player.
That would have been an easy turnaround put-in.
Would have been like a layup for Shaneman.
Shaneman posts up, saved by Schmalecki.
Schmalecki's third save.
Matching Poppers.
The defense rakes it back to Zach. Schmalecki's clearing attempt, no good as Schoen comes up with the pass, drops the ball though on the way into the zone. Picks it back up. Now Corpy with it.
Connor Layden was on him and stayed with him for Rhinebeck. A scrum now, big one here.
That one rolls down towards our cameraman Xavier Campos, stays in bounds.
Right in front of
It's
Xavier.
like a wrestling match broke out, and finally it's taken out of bounds by Golden. They could rule that he was pushed.
And looks
like that's
he
what
will.
they did.
Rob read the ref's minds.
Here's Corpy, shot saved by Schmalecki, and a whistle.
Great shot by Corpy, even a better save by Schmalecki, but it was ruled dead, so that doesn't count as a save, right?
I think that whistle was meant to be blown before the shot, so they're actually going to restart the possession. Pass gets away.
Restart, and that pass almost got away too.
Trojans having a little trouble moving the ball around.
Showing there to Corpy. Yes, so that great shot
William
by Corpy, and then Schmalecki's save doesn't count because it came after the whistle.
Still a good practice.
Over the head of the...
One picked up by Campone.
Chalfin couldn't handle the pass.
This is Layden over to Sevian, who thought about shooting, backed it away.
Best weather we've had, I think, all year so far, Rob.
I would agree. Out in front, shot on the bounce. Daniel Gottlieb completes the hat trick.
After 17 minutes
and 20 seconds of the game, Gottlieb already has a hat trick. And let's see if Brook will even score
3 goals in this game. It's Gottlieb, early candidate for an interview with us.
Rhinebeck, if they keep playing like this, you never know, maybe they'll host a playoff game if they can play against some of their tougher opponents like this.
Yeah, so after
they hold on the 7-1 second quarter, if they keep this up,
they'll be 5-2.
And play about 15, 16 games. So if they are on this win pace, they maybe get about 10, 12 wins. They probably will host the game. And Rob will do all he can to be here.
The first home playoff game in program history. I think
this would take precedent, right?
That might get some attention. We still have a whole half a season to play here, plus.
Rob's just fantasizing.
Pass gets away from Shaneman. It will roll out of bounds. Rhinebeck ball.
Too many turnovers by Brook. Clock stops in lacrosse when that happens. 6:17 on the clock now, and that's why games last a lot longer than the 48 minutes. Interesting start time, though, for the 5 today. We're starting this game at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, Blind Brook is only about 10-15 minutes away from here.
Asked a couple of people. Nobody knew why it was starting at 5, but with the daylight savings,
there's still plenty of
a couple
sunlight.
weeks ago, more than enough. A post-game show will even have good lighting. Probably. Don't quote me on that.
That's the phrase of the day. This pass gets away from De La Rosa. Sevion picks it up at a whistle on the play. They're going to give it to Blind Brook.
Foul on Sevion?
Or against
Either that or maybe he stepped on the
De La
ball.
Rosa.
One of them was the guilty party.
It's Jacob Suserman.
Lacrosse, it's interesting how 3 players can't cross the half. You also see that
that's the
field
offsides
hockey,
rule.
too.
Yeah, that's kind of what the offsides rule is. That's how they enforce that.
Right. Yeah, you see that in field hockey as well. Well, the offsides in soccer, I mean, ice hockey is different.
Yeah, that's the
it's
blue
in the
line,
zone.
yeah.
Yeah. The girls' offsides rule, I think the same as the boys. Nice catch there
By the Blind Brook player, William Golden.
Blind Brook getting some passes around the crease. It's Chalfin coming around the bend. Pass out in front didn't connect, but Golden picks it up.
2 Goldens on the team, both on the field right now, wearing 23 and 24. Alexander, a freshman, and William, a senior.
That's Alexander with it now.
They're both small as they pass it to one another there to the Goldens. And Shaneman with a pick.
That's going to be a moving pick.
And he should know that from basketball.
You're right, he should.
Illegal moving pick. That's not allowed, Mr. Shaneman.
In either sport. Quick passing by Reineck. And the goal by Calcagni, number 2.
Go, Jakey!
And Reineck gets a touchdown lead, 8-1. 2 goals for Calcagni, 3 for Daniel Gottlieb. Veltri has 1. Chart has a goal and an assist, and Michael Gottlieb's got a goal. As freshman, junior, and senior have, and a couple seniors have the goals and assists. Nice
Veltri,
face-off
the
win.
face-off win. Reineck looking for more. This is Dan Gottlieb. Good pass. It's Calcagni again. We've got 2 Panthers with hat tricks.
Way to go, Jake!
Dan Gottlieb passed it to him, so he gets the assist to go along with his hat trick. And Calcagni's got the hat trick of his own, and it's
9-1 with 4:09 to go. And the route is starting to get bigger.
And it's so interesting in lacrosse, too. If Blind Brook can find a way to control the ball better, they can get themselves right back in the game. Really, their problem has been they can't keep the ball long enough to put shots on goal.
Right, you're in the game in lacrosse if you're within 3 or 4 goals. So if they go into halftime and they reel off 4 straight goals here, it'd be 9-5 and
That'd still be a game.
yeah, definitely.
Reineck needs to keep up their guard and do exactly what they're doing here. Possess the ball. Keep it away from Blind Brook.
Like a game we did earlier this year, Mamaroneck was up by 2 goals against Wantagh with like 4 minutes left, and they lost. Wantagh scored 3 straight goals. They lost that game.
And that is typical of the sport.
Quickly reel off.
It's like a middle block with me.
This is Dan Gottlieb. Tries to put a move on the defender, can't get past. Under 3.5 to go in the first half.
No, it's not Connor. Okay.
This is Jack Bauer. Gets it to Sevion. Now Calcagni. Stripped of the ball. Gets it back.
Come on, Jakey. Show us what you got, Jake. Come on.
3 minutes to go now in the first half.
Look up, look up. Help you guys, come on. Yeah.
Sevion passes back out. Calcagni thought about letting it rip. This is Layden now. Tried to pass into the middle, a lot of traffic. Ball came loose. It'll be picked up by Cagney, and Reinach, to the extent that you can, executing a pretty good stall here in boys lacrosse.
Keep away.
Big collision in front of the net. Somehow, Gottlieb came up with the ball.
Go, Jake!
Cagney racing in on the bounce, just shoots wide.
Nice try, Jake!
Dan
Reinach
Gottlieb
Sevion is closest.
Ran into Popper, the goalie, but he still held on to it. He couldn't put it in the net.
And Popper must have come out of the crease, because if he steps in the
did.
crease, he has to lose the ball. This one ripped high, right off the goal post there, the football, the padded section near the ground.
Sevion will go retrieve it towards the goalpost where he has,
He's celebrated a number of touchdowns.
for sure, as a running back. And that one nearly stolen, and it will be.
That's Mitchell Milbauer, an ice hockey star for Rytown Harrison with the steal.
As Brook was playing on that team along with Harrison and Reinach. So a couple of these guys, I don't think anyone on Reinach played hockey, but they could have been teammates.
Flag down on the play with 1:30 to go in the half.
They could have been teammates because Reinach would have, a couple, Morningstar played hockey.
Yeah, he graduated last year, but
So he probably, and Milbauer I think was on that team last year.
he was.
So yeah. And Rytown Harrison, they lost
They lost in the section final
in
to Pelham.
Division II, right? And they got further than Mamaroneck because Mamaroneck lost to Pelham.
Yeah, I think everyone saw that
Pelham.
Pelham game as a de facto championship game.
Pelham beat them badly, but Rytown Harrison definitely, what their season will be known for was when there was a fight on the ice with Rye towards the end of that game, and a couple of their players were suspended, but they still won the next game without a couple of their best players.
Yeah, they're fortunate to get through that. They were definitely on the easier side of the bracket there. They don't have to play Mamaroneck or Pelham until the finals.
And Rye was not nearly as good as they used to be, and took out their frustrations on
Yeah, they had a
instigating that
down
fight.
year as well.
Right.
Almost had a good look for Chart. Instead, it gets away.
Kicked out there by Evan Leishman, and he had it, and then it finds Max Chalfin. And we'll see if Linebrook can get their second goal and cut the deficit to a touchdown with 50 seconds left.
This is Shaneman.
He scored the only goal for the Trojans, so you want him in a stick, as it's tough to defend him, as he just got by Michael Gottlieb with ease.
Yeah, he's an amazing combination of power and speed.
35 seconds now.
It's
They
kinda
just
like
want to
in-
take the last shot
Yeah,
here.
this is essentially like in basketball, holding for the last shot.
We saw an illegal pick from
And
Shaneman.
that pass gets
play.
away from Daniel Appizi.
Thought it was going to go to Reinach.
I might have been deflected. I'm going to give it to Blind Brook.
Initially, I thought the ref pointed to Reinach, but changed his
One
call.
of the refs must have seen or heard a deflection.
As there's only two refs in lacrosse, one on each side. Same with girls and field hockey.
So Shaneman will have it on the restart. 26 seconds left in the quarter.
As they can't do 100% keepaways, they got to start going soon. 15 left here. Now they got to go. And they will, try here.
Got it out in front. Tight defense there by Mark Sansuli. Shot attempt by Shaneman went well wide. 2 seconds left. And this left to be just a quick pass,
Pass and
they're
a shoot.
not even just going to run it out. No chance there. So a very impressive first half for the Reinach Panthers. They lead Blind Brook 9-1 at the break. We'll be right back with the second half here on LMC Varsity Sports. So Blind Brook starting the second half with the ball. Michael Gottlieb is in the penalty box. I'm not sure what the infraction was, but Blind Brook is playing a man up to start the second half.
But they turn
That
it over
doesn't seem
right
to
away.
matter. Cueto rushing it up, loses the ball though, and delivers a check to just for good measure. Sevion picks up the loose ball.
And by the penalty box, Rob means he's just on a knee next to the bench.
And there is a line there, so he's not really on the bench.
but and as it's over now,
It was a 30-second
seconds.
penalty.
Brook only had possession for about 10 of it. That's another problem when they're man up, they turn it over.
It takes the entire advantage away. This is Cal Cagney. He already has a hat trick. He unloads to Dan Gottlieb, who also has a hat trick.
They've combined for 6 of the 9 goals.
Panthers cycling through.
And Gottlieb also has an assist.
I remember we used to take Jacob Dockery.
This is Connor Layden. Tried to pass behind, but right out of the reach of Cal Cagney. And Blind Brook will take over.
Since that wasn't a shot, since it was a direct pass to him, that's why it's a turnover. As where if there was a shot taken, they would have retained possession because Cal Cagney would have been the closest player to it.
Although if Cal Cagney had touched it, then it wouldn't have counted as a shot, because at that point it'd be a deflected ball.
Oh, if he lost it, right, yes. No, but because
That
it
one
was a
loose in
pass
front.
to him that he couldn't get, because it was last thrown by Reinach. It's Blind Brook.
Trying to advance there, we've got a...
It looked like the ref was going to reach for a flag, but instead he just patted his head and said it's against Blind Brook. An infraction of some sorts. No, offsides or... No, it wasn't offsides.
In football, that means too many men.
But I didn't see anyone retreat to the bench. As Shaneman deflects it, they can't find it. And
That shot just wide by Dan Gottlieb.
Looking for his 4th goal.
This is Richard. He unloads to Layden.
as this is the first of 2 regular season games for the boys lacrosse at Rhinebeck that you'll see here on LMC Varsity Sports. We'll have one later in the year.
Quick passing and stripped of the ball.
And that's a
And
penalty.
a flag came in, a little bit of shoving after the ball had definitely gotten away from Suzerman and Veltri.
Extracurriculars. I think a 1 minute
Yeah, this was a cross check.
on number 12
Yeah,
from
that's Jacob Suzerman, the freshman.
Weinbrook. I think he said a minute.
That is a minute, so pretty long extra man opportunity here for Rhinebeck.
If they score before that, though, it's over, right? Or,
I believe so.
because normally the lacrosse penalties are only 30 seconds. Because it was a cross check, it was a minute. So who knows? We'll see if they do score, what happens then.
Might just waste most of the minute out.
Yeah, Blindbrook can't score if they don't have the ball. So
Chart wants to shoot, the bounce is too high. Sevion backing up. Rhinebeck will keep it.
Let's go, boys!
Just out of the reach of the long stick. Nice spin move out in front. Shot saved by Popper. It's a good attempt from Veltri. Rhinebeck still with possession. This rip scores. Michael Gottlieb with his second. And it's 10-1. Panthers in double digits.
One more and he'll match brother Dan's 3 goals. As we'll be back here on April 25th, which is a Saturday, for a 2:30 game against Dobbs Ferry. So Rhinebeck and Dobbs Ferry rivals on the football gridiron.
They're rivals in almost every sport. Softball, baseball. Some sports better.
I would say they're
matched up
better
than others.
rivals than they are in this sport than they are with Blindbrook. Although their best games came in basketball a couple of years ago that we mentioned earlier.
Shot saved by Popper, I believe. I don't know if it went off the post.
I think it hit his foot.
I think it was off the foot.
Of
Rhinebeck
Popper.
still with possession.
Kick save and a beauty.
We are back to even strength as well.
I think he's got 6 saves now, does Popper, but he's given up 10 goals. And Chemlecki has 3 saves.
Which is amazing that he's had to make that many saves because they've.
Well, 4 shots and 1's gone in, 3 saves. This is Dan Gottlieb, way behind for Sevion.
Rhinex outpossessed him about 80 to 20.
Shot got blocked up in the defense. The attempt by Roman Calcagni. William Golden runs up the ball.
Roman, a freshman, younger brother of Jake.
Whistle on the play. There is a flag sitting down way on the other side of the field.
If Roman Calcagni could score, Rhineck will have 2 brothers with goals. It's the Gottliebs and the Calcagnis. But he'll come out.
And we'll see who that penalty was on,
I think it's
too.
on Roman Calcagni. Yep. Because he'll take a knee. A slashing penalty, I think.
So an extra man opportunity for Brook. 7:34 to go, 3rd quarter. This is Shaneman. Back to Suserman. Trojans cycle through. Shaneman rips high and caught on the fly by a teammate. Suserman rips wide. Was that wide, or did Chmelecki get a piece of it to deflect it?
I think he got a piece of it. Give him save number 4.
And the first goal and only goal that Brook scored was on the man advantage as well. So this is where they are now. And Shaneman
rips another. This one does score.
Number 2, another bouncing goal for Shaneman.
He's 2/3 of the way there for a hat trick and
Another unassisted. Last goal was unassisted. This one as well. He ripped that one, and big Ryan Shaneman, the basketball star and football quarterback, has 2 for Brook, and it's 10-2. Rhineck has 10, and Ryan Shaneman has 2 for Brook.
And Shaneman's going to need a little bit of help from his friends.
As Jake Calcagni's got 3, Daniel Gottlieb's got 3, and Michael Gottlieb's got 2, and the others were Chris Richard and
Peter Veltri.
Some contact there. We'll get a whistle, but I didn't see any flags. They'll give possession to Brook.
3 guys with multiple goals for the Panthers. 6:51 remaining in the 3rd quarter. All Rhineck, 10-2.
This is Corpy bringing it up. He gets it to Opezi. Now Chalfin. We're to Christopher McDanis, who bobbles and picked up by Rhineck. Quickly unloaded to Kevin Reimers, who gets dropped. And we got a whistle.
I was just thinking about how we talked about the playoffs and stuff. In Class C,
you have Rhineck, but Rhineck,
Bronxville.
I was just thinking about who else in Class C, and I was like, my alma mater, who made the state final. I think they won.
They won
the state championship last year. They killed Mamaroneck. They looked really good, and they got 7 kids going to D1 schools already, and one of those kids is a sophomore.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in Class C can try to win as that one goes wide off the stick of Chris Delarosa. I don't think anyone in Class C can expect to win a title as long as that Bronxville team's around.
You just hope that your seed's either the 2, the 3, or the 6, or the.
Try to get yourself to the final, and that's about as far as you can really expect to go against a team like that.
They are, yeah.
Class A powerhouses,
like
they can't beat them.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was thinking they just lost this weekend at Bronxville to a school in Pennsylvania, Shema. They're like some big school. I think it was like Shema Doe, some school I've never heard of in Pennsylvania. That's a real good. And Pennsylvania's always been a hotbed for lacrosse.
That's lacrosse country out there.
Especially, Amish country is actually lacrosse country.
I didn't know that.
Well,
that
a
shot
lot of the
just
Amish
went wide, was deflected in front of the goal. Some tough contact. They'll let play continue.
Well, we are on the football field here, Rob.
This is Sevion with a spin move, but No shot attempt resulting. So we're down to 5 minutes left in the third quarter.
Like in Amish country is like near Gettysburg College, and Gettysburg College always has good teams, Washington and Lee.
Flag came in.
Slash against Rhinebeck, I think. 28, Max
28
Pasquina.
that would be Max Pasquina. I didn't know he was on the field.
No, he called the wrong team. He said white, but he meant blue.
That
Because
makes
it's against
sense.
Blindbrook,
That's Jordan Schoen.
which made sense. Yeah, I don't think Max Pasquina is dressed, you know? Haven't seen him on the field yet. Don't see
pass
his
gets
28
away.
on the bench.
A chart there to pick it up.
Blindbrook.
Man advantage for Rhinebeck. It's a shoe save by the defender. That was off Jason Schoen.
Saving his brother Jordan, who's in the box.
You know who's buying who a slice of pizza after this one.
Maybe if the game was closer, he would be.
Still got to eat. As William Golden loses possession.
This period, this quarter is tied at 1.
Rhinebeck definitely not as big on the attack.
As Mike Doherty just released his low HUD power rankings for the week an hour later than he said he would.
Deadline schmedlines.
Or maybe he tweeted them an hour later and they were there. As he's the low HUD lacrosse writer for Journal News.
That was a nice play, saved by Popper. That was a tough save on a bounce.
Popper with his 7th.
Oh, a ferocious fight for the ball as the penalty releases. Back to even strength. Calcagni looking for number 4, racing in, and he scores.
Top shelf on that one for Jake Calcagni, and it's
11-2 with 3:44 to go in the third quarter.
in lacrosse. If the league gets too big, I think they do run time, but
I
it's
think
got to
that
be.
might be only in girls, but don't quote me on that.
As our cameraman Kevin Duarte getting a laugh out of that one from
Well, we
Rob.
were at the Mamaroneck North Rockland game that was
Right.
20-8, and that clock was never running. So I would assume it's only in
That was
girls
the
lacrosse.
first game of the year? Oh, no, the Nyack game, I thought. Oh, when was that? Recently?
That was about a week and a half ago.
Oh, so you've already done 2 Mamaroneck girls? Oh.
That was the boys' game. The boys' game that did not go to running time.
Oh, yes. Oh, I thought you had said girls, but yeah.
The girls, I think, do have running time.
Right.
Of the
But the
10
boys,
goal
I
lead.
don't think they do then, is your point. Yeah.
There might be a 15-goal lead for the boys if they have it at all.
But don't quote them on that.
Blindbrook with a possession here. This is Chalfin. And he's just at a big size disadvantage. Not going to get around those guys. It's like trying to run through a wall.
Get him, Noah, get him!
This is Alexander Golden. Tough defense from Noah Ponticello.
As a lot of the reserves are in for Rhinebeck.
This is Shaneman. Races in, shoots, and he scores. Hat trick for Ryan Shaneman.
3 guys with a hat trick now, and
One of them is from Blindbrook. Ryan Shaneman to go along with Dan Gottlieb. Actually, Calcagni's got more than a hat trick now, but at least reached the hat trick mark.
Shaneman, a one-man wrecking crew for Blindbrook. Especially harder now that Rhinebeck has some of their reserve defenders in. And Shaneman, just physically one of the hardest people to defend in any sport, as we've seen across the years. This is Roman Calcagni.
Fan favorite.
He unloads to Kevin Reimers. A couple of spins, and they go behind for Gottlieb. Now Sevion. Some of the starters still in there for Rhinebeck. Roman Calcagni can't catch the pass. A lot of contact. Play still live. Reimers came up with it. Spin move by De La Rosa.
Two
and the
in a
ball
row.
pops out as he tried to pass it.
He just hit the spin.
And now they're going to stop play.
The spin button on the PlayStation twice there.
Just keep mashing until something good happens.
All right. So we get a timeout by Blindbrook. We'll step aside and be right back here on LMC Varsity Sports. The name of it?
Back out of the timeout. It's Blindbrook with possession. Rhinebeck's defense has been just unbreakable. Pedro Cueto trying to get in there. Whistle stops play. That's got to be tough, Charlie, trying to go up against Pedro Cueto, a guy who is a hard-hitting linebacker, running back for the football team. These are guys who really play physically in other sports.
Definitely, but it's also got to be tough going up against Ryan Shaneman for Rhinebeck because he's a big guy as well.
Flag came in after that hit.
But I know what you
Cueto
mean.
might be coming to the box.
Yeah, as soon as you were praising him, he goes to the box there.
So an extra man opportunity here for Blindbrook.
I think they're either 3 for 4 on the extra man, or I think every goal Shaneman had has been on the extra man, maybe except one of them.
And he's out there for this one. He's starting with the ball.
Well, why not? Yeah, if he's not in, you can sub him in.
Yeah, rolling substitutions in lacrosse.
I mean, yeah, with those, his shot, I mean, he hasn't been playing the whole game as where a couple guys have, maybe because of his stamina or whatnot, but he's clearly the best player. Wouldn't you agree, Rob?
He's definitely shown
good shot.
Great shooting ability and good escapability. That shot off a defender's leg and picked up by Chris Richard. Off the stick of Jack Bauer, but he's able to pick it up.
30 seconds to go here in the third.
Flag comes in.
Foul.
Ryan actually just stopped the play and end the man advantage.
Wow.
That flag's against Blindbrook, so.
Well, it's like in hockey, though. Although in hockey, they pull the goalie and then they get the man before that happens.
You can't really do that in boys lacrosse. You have the offsides rule at midfield.
I've always wondered if there was ever a goal where in hockey where they pull the goalie and like because of a back pass or something that goes it goes in.
I bet it's happened.
It probably has. It happened in my
Coaches hope it never
NHL 13.
That's what happens when you button mash.
As that's the joy of a 11-3 game. You get to banter. There's no better banter than here on LMC Varsity Sports.
Oh, we'll go all night. Should start a radio show.
The bantering LMC Sports crew.
Jake Calcagni will have it as we restart. 18 seconds to go in the quarter.
For lacrosse,
and they might just run this out.
I think Ardsley, that win for them, Ardsley's a B at least for lacrosse, right?
I believe.
Because they're an A in baseball, so they got to be a B at the least. I think they would be.
That's the end of the third quarter. They just run out the remaining seconds. 12 minutes of play left. Rhinebeck all over Blindbrook, 11-3 here on LMC TV.
Back here on LMC Varsity Sports alongside Rob Moretti. I am Charlie McGraw, and it is 11-3 Rhinebeck, and they will start on the man advantage as out is Jacob Susserman for Blindbrook. And Shaneman comes back in as the man advantage is over, as Susserman will just stand with the rest of the Blindbrook players on the bench, and Shaneman goes back in, as you see sometimes in hockey where a guy goes straight to the Actually, they do it in high school hockey because the benches are right next to the penalty boxes. Not in the NHL, but they go right back in and someone else comes in. That's what happened there. Because that was a 30-second penalty that started the end of the quarter. Actually, it started in the third, so it was there as Sevion.
It was a good try. He was trying to throw it off of Jordan Schoen, I think.
After Sevion scored the winning goal on Saturday, he hasn't scored one today here.
He doesn't score a ton of goals, but he's still a great athlete who you have to mark on the field because he's so elusive.
As Rob said, this is his first year playing varsity lacrosse, although for some of these guys it is as well. But this is just second year as a program, and that was a dangerous hit there by Cueto.
That'll get a flag.
And an injury possibly as a player is down for Blindbrook, and that was a scary hit by Cueto. We'll step aside and be right back. Back here on LMC Varsity Sports.
As injury on the hit by Pedro Cueto, looks like it hurt the ankle of Jordan
Kotler, and he's on the sidelines now. Was able to get off the field, but with help from the trainer and the coach. So
it looked like a left ankle or leg injury.
And that one will be saved there
by Zach Shinlecki. And 5 saves for him.
And they'll clear it now.
Flag comes in the back of the play.
That'll be against Blindbrook.
Slash against Grant Atler
for Blindbrook. So that'll be a...
You left her behind. You little sister.
So it'll be even because Cueto is still on the sidelines because of the penalty, and
so is
a little
Atler.
5-on-5.
But Reinach will have the ball because the penalty, most recent one, came against Blindbrook. As Gottlieb will play it
to Layden.
Back to Dan Gottlieb. He's got 3 goals and an assist, does the senior. And he will play it and right to Blindbrook, but it is still loose on the grass, as I was about to say the turf, but the wrong surface. As it'll be played, shot, and a score by Gottlieb. As some sequence there, he lost it on the turnover. Then his teammates picked it up, and then it was high in the air. Gottlieb got it,
and he scored. So he's got 4 goals and an assist. And we will interview him after the game, along with Coach Jonathan Sable. Jonathan Sable, in his second year here at Reinach, already has 4 times, make it 5 times after this win. As many wins as he did last year, 5-2. Amazing turnaround from a 1-15 year last year.
You can really see the progress this program has made. They're not just hanging in there with the weaker programs. They're playing incredibly well and competing with some of the mid-range programs. And this is the program that I think is still on the rise, even more than this.
As this scrum to the face-off is picked up by the Richard, who is using the long stick now. And he just switched, and Gottlieb scores again, number 5.
But interesting, Richard, we saw him earlier in the game play as a
midfielder with a normal size stick, but now he's defenseman.
Yeah,
long stick.
He's listed as a midfielder, but not as a long stick midfielder. But I guess he decided I'll try it out.
I saw him, which is allowed, I guess, in lacrosse.
As long as the stick was been approved, yeah.
I guess it's kind of like trading gloves, Not quite, but. As this one is won by Blindbrook on the face-off, brought up by Clay Corpy. we saw take a good shot before, but wouldn't have counted as it was saved. And that one is scored, assisted by Corpy.
To Alexander Golden, so first person to score other than Ryan Shainman.
And we've seen that look a lot of times from Blind Brook. The difference this time is they completed the pass to the guy who was alone in front of the net. And when that happens, you had a very good opportunity to convert for the goal.
Alexander Golden scores, the freshman assisted by freshman Clay Corpy. So for them, Ryan Shainman has the hat trick that he achieved earlier in the third, and now Golden has a goal.
Might call it a golden goal.
That would be a walk-off winner, as that's what they call a goal in soccer, the golden goal. As this face-off will be won here
By Cameron Broom.
senior, who we saw on the football team and basketball as well. As
I think those are the
only guys who played all three sports. I mean, Shainman did for Blind Brook. It was him and Sevion for Rhinebeck. Shainman did for Blind Brook, as Rob will.
Agree. I will agree.
Rob will agree. You can quote him on that to change it up.
You notice too, Rhinebeck doesn't have like a wrestling program or something for the bigger guys to do in the winter besides indoor track. So
Not that many schools do have wrestling. I mean, Mamaroneck does, but where I went, Bronxville, we had one and then lost interest, so they didn't have one. I don't think Blind Brook has one.
a lot of smaller schools don't. Some combine.
Like they do in hockey.
Point being, that's why it's difficult for some of the football and lacrosse guys to play three sports because there isn't really that third sport for them.
A couple guys do with basketball and hockey. That pass is from Shainman is way high and out of bounds as he shrugs his shoulders and will walk to the sidelines.
And these two teams played last year. Rhinebeck lost 14-12 the first time, and the second time they lost 11-7
to Blind Brook.
So first time that Rhinebeck will beat Blind Brook in boys lacrosse, because this is the second year of the program. Blind Brook's been a program who's rather new, but I think they've been around for more than Rhinebeck. They've at least a couple of years.
Because of the PSAT, they'll have to repair, right? Yeah.
As this one will be played by Blind Brook. And this one is a scrum. And picked up by Rhinebeck as the turnover happens. As it was played there. Ian Gabriel played it to Chris De La Rosa. As
Rhinebeck. Timeout called by Rhinebeck coach Jonathan Sable.
we will step aside and be right back here on LMC Varsity Sports. Back here on LMC Varsity Sports,
The goalie, they played it back to Shumlicki, and he'll play it up to Peter Veltri.
13-4, 6:45 to go.
Cameron Broom will get the pass from Veltri.
After this game, Rhinebeck
Will improve to 5-2, Blind Brook 0-3, but they will have to play 4 straight road games. One against, their next game is at Ardsley on Wednesday.
That's
but
going to be an interesting rematch.
since they won in double overtime, did Rhinebeck. Ardsley actually, though, is for lacrosse Class C.
And the
as we were
cutoffs
wondering.
vary by sport sometimes as well. And
Yeah.
flag in on that play as Gabriel tried to bring it up.
Another hit there.
But Ardsley is such an interesting school. I mean, they've been wavering between B and A in baseball the last 3 years. And
They beat Rhinebeck in the section championship. I think.
was 2 years
First
ago.
Or second year was at the Provident Bank Park in Rockland, home of the Rockland Boulders.
so actually, the Ardsley baseball team says they're still defending that title because they played in A last year.
And now they're in B.
They're back in B. Fluctuating enrollment numbers, if you're right on the border, you tend to try to keep it stable, but you can bounce from year to year like that.
No, but technically Rhinebeck is defending that title because Rhinebeck won.
Well, Ardsley's defending the
Even though
2013
Rhinebeck's a
title
new-
because they didn't get a chance to defend it in B, so they
there's
say.
a rare chance where both teams are defending a title. Although for Rhinebeck,
So says Ardsley.
they have a whole new roster. Although they have a couple wins already, right? 3?
Yeah, a couple of good wins.
As that one is saved by Popper.
They'll be coming up on the schedule in a couple weeks.
Is that one Jack Bauer shot? He was looking to make it a 10-goal game. And a scrum picked up by Calcagni, Roman Calcagni. Picked up here, and that one will go out on the sideline. Get the Blindbrook bench pumped.
And that baseball program really comes down to figuring out their pitching. They have some good pitching performances and some promising young pitchers.
As my friend and college teammate, Kevin McQuaid is the new, he's working with the pitchers. So he's the second, another assistant, and that one was scored there by Kevin Reimers. Not related to Robert Reamer, our announcer,
I would say not.
as this last name has an S. A sophomore attack man, but Robert Reamer, a character on our announcing team,
And a freshman at NYU.
as he's Mr. Oh Brother.
Oh, brother, where art thou? At NYU. That's the answer to that question.
Yes.
14-4 as we continue to ramble in this blowout.
It's only Monday, folks. We'll be here all week.
Kevin Reimers,
Robert Reamer and Kevin Duarte is our cameraman now.
Playing the
If you
name
combined
game.
them, right? As Roman Cagney has it here, smallest player on the field as the crowd wants him to shoot it. A lot of these freshmen, though, Rhinebeck doesn't have a JV. They do have a new JV team as well that came last year. So,
Well, they had a JV before they had a varsity.
right, that makes sense. Cagney, but they're able to pick him up. Tries to get by 1 or 2, and he's just doing a little shake and bake there. Where's Will Farrell and John C. Riley when you need them? And Roman Calcagni surrounded by blue jerseys. Hit there by Shaneman.
He just had nowhere to go.
A wall of defenders. Foul against Shaneman. Rhinebeck will retain it. 4:20 to go. 14 for Rhinebeck.
only thing in doubt, the final score.
We'll be back here in a couple days for a softball game. We had one rained out. Really a shame. Rained out against Valhalla.
That was going
would've
to be a
been
great
big
game. I was looking. And it did. It rained lightly. I mean, it was definitely a good rain out, though, because it would have rained throughout, Rob.
Yeah, unfortunate, though, we're not able to schedule the makeup, so we'll have their game against Hastings next weekend.
Hastings not as good as
We
Valhalla.
also had them later on the schedule. They're going to host Mamaroneck, so that's always a good matchup between the two local schools.
When's the Hastings game?
That'll be 2 days from now, but it'll air next weekend.
Oh, because of the full schedule. Because this game is following the.
And we'll have
Rhinebeck
Mamaroneck
girls.
baseball tomorrow against White Plains. That should be a good game, too. We've got a lot of good games on the schedule.
Yeah, Rob said they have a surplus games this year, especially with girls lacrosse. That's new this year.
They were the last year as well.
Rhinebeck?
You can quote me on that. I was here. I saw them play.
But there's just a lot of games that are scheduled at the same time. That you can quote.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Me on. As Blindbrook here looking to cut into the 10-goal lead.
You'd have to blame the lacrosse program. Before the lacrosse program was here, we used to be able to get a pretty even. That's saved? No, he scored.
What a goal by Blindbrook. That was Max Chalfin.
That was a nice shot by Chalfin. Backhand,
Nice.
no look.
Chalfin, almost as good as the first goal of the game scored by Calcagni. That was about behind his back, actually. I think the Calcagny one was a little better. It was the first one of the game, and it was like out of nowhere.
Both
behind
impressive.
the back. Yeah, that was a crazy goal.
But prior to the lacrosse program here, we used to be able to get 3, sometimes 4 games per team on the schedule, and there's just more teams to go around now and not more time. So it's down to 2 or 3.
As this one will be taken by Blind Brook, one there by Clay Corpy.
Remember the great pitcher Clay Rapata. Not a very common name.
Clay Buckholz.
Clay Buckholz got rocked last night. Rob was there.
I was. It was glorious to watch.
Got the Clay in our class. Blind Brook looking at make it 14-6. With 2:35 remaining here in our first boys lacrosse game of the year at Rhinebeck. We did 2 Mamaroneck games.
That's a nice rip by Corpy, just wide.
A great game that we did where it was still snowing. Once it felt like winter.
Don't remind me, Charlie.
Rob still has frostbite from that game.
I'll take this 60 to 65 light breeze sunny. We'll stick with this the rest of the season.
In this game, we've only had a
Timeout taken by each team, as where that day we had about 3 timeouts as well, made it even longer by each team.
I think they're allowed, what, 3 timeout, 2.5, I think, right? Something like that.
And yeah,
So this is the 4th home game
for Rhinebeck as they
A lot
won
of
their
home games
first
early in their schedule.
against Yonkers 20-3. They lost in overtime at home against Irvington last week. Ardsley this Saturday they beat in double overtime on Jake Sevion's goal,
which was a new rule to Rob, as he didn't even know. We didn't know that there was double overtime allowed there. What a save there by Shamlecki. Picked up in a scrum again, and double flags by
they had to
referees.
throw that. I think there was some contact to the head as the player's foot was flying around.
I just said, listen, if you keep asking me, we're not doing anything. I'm getting aggravated. I'm trying to film and figure out who's who. You're at a game. I'm here to watch the
a rare double flag.
Called a cross check.
Cross check, 1 minute.
I thought I saw someone getting kicked in the head, but apparently it's a cross check.
It's odd though. Blind Brook, this is only their 3rd game, and it's Rhinebeck's 7th.
Yeah, they really scheduled a heavy early season.
Blind Brooks lost 11-3 to Ardsley, and then the next day they lost 13-4 to Sleepy Hollow.
Maybe hoping the later part of their season might be a little bit tougher. They can get more rest in between games.
Wait, Blind Brook plays Bronxville again. That's like a very bad matchup.
Yeah, they're not gonna,
Lost last year, they lost 22-1. This year, it could be 44-1.
you're not going to be able to sell tickets for that one.
Yeah. It's at Bronxville again. Maybe Coach Tim Horgan, who was a teacher when I was at Bronxville, maybe him and Coach from Blind Brook, Jason Head, maybe they're friends or something for that schedule, because it doesn't. I mean, they're both C schools, so. But
well, if they're in the same league, then they have to play each other twice. It's a rule.
no, I think they only play once though at the end of the year, so it must not be. As Roman Calcagny battling for that.
Rhinebeck.
Final minute here.
They only play once. They play Brookfield soon, which is a
Connecticut school, Blind Brook. A lot of schools
Match
play.
up with the Brooks.
Blind Brook and Brookfields. 40 seconds to go. That was
Brooks Brothers.
after the game. They go to Brooks Brothers. The only thing they need is a player named Brooks. I went to school with a kid named Brooks.
Rhinebeck Blind Brook does not have.
As this one,
Smolecki's calling for a pass to him.
and he'll get it, like the pass back.
as he'll get it from
Ponticello. And Schlemlecki will just play it forward. 10 seconds to go, 14-5. And this one will be played forward by Blind Brook, looking for a last-second shot here. Roman Calcagny all over the field, comes back to play defense, and he'll prevent a last-second shot. Final score,
14-5. Rhinebeck over Blind Brook as the
Panthers improved to 5-2. Blind Brook 0-3, and Rob Good offense by Rhineck.
Yeah, Rhineck came out in that first quarter with a mission, and they fulfilled that mission. They outpossessed throughout the game. Really, it could have been a lot more goals for Rhineck, but they really laid off after that first. How many goals did they score in that first quarter? 5, and then 4 in the second quarter. So 9 first half goals, and they just kind of laid back, got some of the subs in, get them some playing time, not attacking as much, but doing what we need to do to keep the ball away from Blind Brook and win the game.
Blind Brook had a goal in every quarter except the second. So they had 2 in the third. They only scored 5, and Cal Shemlecki actually made 5 saves. Popper only had about 8, and the final score was 14-5. So we'll be back with the post-game show and analysis and interviews here on LMC Varsity Sports. Back here on the post-game show with Dan Gottlieb. And Dan, it was a good win today. You had 5 goals. Tell me what it was like for you out there today.
Well, we came out. We were trying to work as a team. I was looking. I got the shots. I had the shots open for me. I put them in. A lot of assists are main for us. Everyone else worked well. We got the win. That was what we were looking for.
And you guys have already won 5 games this year. You only had 1 last year, first-year program. Tell me what the turnaround's been like.
Well, a big thing was we got Zach Shemlecki in goal right now. It's a huge difference from last year. We have a lot lower scoring games than last year, and we just came together as a team. Last year, a lot of these guys, it was their first year playing varsity lacrosse. We came from a JV program, and we were trying to work more as a team instead of individuals, and that's a huge difference from last year.
And tell me what you think your hopes are for the rest of the season with having a good goalie, like you said, and looking good so far as you're 5-2.
Well, our biggest goal is to win the league, and then we're going to see where it goes from there. Right now, we're 4-0 in the league. That's big for us. We're going to keep going. We're going to take it game by game. We got a big game against Ardsley. We'll try to beat them again.
Back on the post-game show now, joined by Panthers coach John Sable. Coach, just aside from today's game, this is a team that really took its lumps last year, and just to be able to put in all the work I'm sure they put in and to turn it around to 5-2 this year, how great is that as a coach to see that?
This is a lot of fun to watch. But the boys put in a lot of work come fall, winter. We did a bunch of different tournaments throughout the rest of the year, through the year last year, and it's really starting to pay off.
And then today's game, obviously you take it to Blind Brook from the very start. Just the execution, how great is it to see that?
So that's something that we've definitely been working on, because in the last couple of games we've really started off flat, and one thing Coach Borselli and I have really been pushing is that we got to come out from the first quarter and just give it to them right away. And the biggest thing is the teamwork, and that's the one thing we've been stressing all along.
Yeah, a thrilling game against Ardsley just a few days ago. You're about to play them again. How do you make this one not go to double overtime?
We got to execute. That's the biggest thing. We have to limit our mistakes. A lot of the things that we're doing wrong, Coach and I are sort of looking at film and seeing where we have to sort of make our changes to make sure we don't go into that double overtime.
Back here on the post-game show as Rhineck improved to 5-2 with the win over Blind Brook, who's now 0-3, 14-5. And Rob, it's been like night and day for the teams from last year to this year. Your coach, you and Coach John Sable were talking about it right before this, and what a difference a year makes.
Oh, yeah, you can tell just the experience at the varsity level, these players developing their skills, and it's really just the essence of the game of lacrosse. You have to possess the ball, you have to limit your turnovers, and they've been doing that. You can see Blind Brook has actually looked more like what Rhineck looked like last year. The trouble completing passes, fighting for ground balls, losing ground balls, and they've really turned it around, and they're going to even continue to get better. It might be hard it's going to be hard with Bronxville in Class C. I wouldn't think it would be hard for them to compete for a section title in the near future. But that doesn't mean this program isn't set for a whole tremendous amount of success in the near future as well.
And they lost to Blind Brook last year twice, so a great turnaround. So that'll wrap this one up. Final score 14-5. A lot of people to thank for today's telecast, including the Executive Director, Eric Luce, Associate Director, Matt Sullivan, Community Sports Producer is Mr. Rob Moretti. For our cameraman who did a great job, Asher Collins, and the Kevin Duarte, as well as Xavier Campo. For everyone here at LMC Varsity Sports, once again, this is Charlie McGraw along with Rob Moretti saying thanks so much for watching and have a great evening.